Hey, this is Robert. Thank you so much for tuning in to Station Square. Already on a good start. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, hope everyone is doing a-okay, and they're just surviving the heat and what have you. And yeah, it's summertime, so what can you expect? So, today we're going to be chatting with somebody. I think, is this the first podcast interview you've done, or did you do a few others before? Just wanted to double check. Yeah.
No, I've done some on like people's YouTube channels and things like that.
Okay, so this is kind of like, but not like an interview like this. Just want to make sure.
No, I've done at least one. Just about my projects and what I've got going on. It was about a year ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, but anyways, welcome to the podcast, and this is Jenna. Thank you so much for joining me on today's little episode, or tonight on your end. It's about to be evening for me too. So, how's it going?
Good. How are you today, Robert?
Yeah, I'm doing, it's Monday. It's kind of been a really busy day for me, but I'm I'm alive. I'm doing good, and just staying productive. You know.
Well, that's always good to hear.
Yeah, for sure. I guess for you, like, how are you? Like, I know you've got a couple of stuff that you've been working on, just projects. So if you want to share about them, just to start off as the icebreaker, like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, of course. I'm a voice actor. I'm a writer for a lot of indie projects, different types of things, visual novels, audio dramas, animation. You kind of name it. I've done something in it, basically. I also do a lot of work with the indie animation studio, the Sunflower Club, where we just kind of promote different people's projects and work on some of our own together. Just trying to foster a good community space. Right now, for this year, I've had a couple of things come out recently that I've been really happy to work on. Um, there's a spoiler-driven audio drama that's kind of like drama thriller horror called "Someone Dies in This Elevator." It's on its final season, and I got to help voice act in one of the episodes along with editing it. And I actually got to do my first bit of audio engineering with that one, which was really fun to kind of take on and to get to work on the more like technical side of things. I've also been in another audio drama that's a bit more of like a edgy comedy called Kill Jam Triple X that's been releasing weekly right now. I have a really small part in that, but it's a really fun show if you're looking for something just to make you smile. And I've been in a few game jams that are starting to get put together and come out. And yeah, and I've gotten to help edit some scripts for them too. So it's been a productive year so far.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I think for me, I'm starting because like I just recently left Twitter and TikTok, so I'm just trying my best to stay in the loop when it comes to jam and stuff like that. So yeah, if you need voice actors, like we're here, we're available. Just saying.
Definitely, yeah. And if you post, I know Blue Sky is getting a lot of great traction now with casting calls. I think like the casting call retweet thing account is on there now. So if you tag them, they'll repost your casting call out to any voice actors who are following their channel. So it's been becoming a much stronger resource.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess for you, because you're based on the East Coast, yes?
Yeah, I'm outside of New York City.
Oh, nice. So how would you say that the whole like atmosphere and the community is like over there? Because I know I'm like in SoCal, but how would you say that the New York scene is like for you?
It's not as busy. I don't really do as much. I do remote work, but there are like some nice little close knit communities, and it's just not. It feels a little less overwhelming than I've found trying to hang out in the LA scene has been. So it's nice. It's a lot of people who are very familiar with working with each other. Um, yeah, and everyone I've talked to and had the chance to speak to in person has been pretty supportive.
Yeah, and I think that's super important, especially these days, having like a strong, group of people that are just behind you every step of the way.
Oh, very. Yeah. I mean, this is a very difficult career we've chosen. It has a lot of rejection. It has a lot of work that you do that never makes it out into the world. So it's very helpful to have a supportive and positive group of people around you.
Yep, exactly. So speaking of projects, is there any that you kind of, consider to be a highlight or just something that is really just, you know, that really still remains near and dear to your heart even after all this time?
Oh, I would say, and this was like a couple of years ago, but this group, I think their handle now is Funigami Games, but they made a visual novel game called Reshape that was an office a work office horror visual novel. I got to play the monster in that, and I got to just be very unhinged and very just all over the place, and it was such a fun time to get to do that.
Yeah, and I know with so many of these companies where it's like the most fun that you have are just kind of ones where you get to be very weird and crazy and silly.
Yeah, yeah, I really like the fact that I got to play with that character a lot and have a lot of really like high energy scary moments and then also kind of like lower more threatening moments.
Oh, sorry, just trying to find the unmute thing. But out of yeah, and you mentioned, that was kind of like you played a monster and so on and so forth. And that must have been a lot would you say that it was also kind of vocally stressful in a way?
Um it wasn't terribly like that for me because it wasn't really a kind of guttural sounds, roaring creature type monster. It was, it had the body and shape of a monster, but the voice was a little bit more just like a high pitched kind of, this thing. The tone of the voice is like something nice, but the things it's saying are very not nice. So it wasn't too stressful, thankfully.
Yeah. Just got to take care of, your voice and everything. So just wanted to get that out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And what is something that you really love just being in voiceover after so many years?
I love all the people I've gotten to know and to work with. I've made some really nice friendships through this community, and it's just really, really wonderful to have people who you see time and again in different projects and, who you can bounce ideas off of and relate to and just kind of, root for each other.
Yeah. And what would you say is kind of like the biggest thing that's been kind of keeping you just so that just kind of keeps you going throughout the year?
I would say just getting to see what's next. This is a very unpredictable career path. So many opportunities come along that you wouldn't have even imagined of, and some of them work out, and some of them don't, and some of them don't, but then work out into something else. So it's just kind of getting to see what comes next, because no matter how well I plan things out, I can never be sure of what's exactly is going to happen.
Exactly. I think that's kind of like one of the biggest things to keep in mind is this is very unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So anything can happen. So that you just got to be, go into it with optimism, but also kind of like, okay, just expect the unexpected, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And who would you say was very instrumental in helping you on your voiceover journey?
Oh God, I mean, my first teachers, I started taking classes about 5 years ago, and I did them online. There was just a better, variety of classes that I could take than trying to find in person at the time. And in those introductory classes, I had some very supportive people. My first coach was Nicole Oliver. She's a Canadian voice actor, and she was incredibly, incredibly encouraging. And it helped me want to continue moving forward. And I would say later in my career, about the midway point from where I am now, I did a long term coaching thing with Richard Horvitz, who I would always recommend because again, you're getting someone who is incredibly supportive, incredibly encouraging of you finding your own way into performances, and just very kind in how feedback and suggestions are presented. These are people who they want you to grow. They don't want to you know, break you down so they can mold you into who they think you should be. They want you to find who you should be, and they want to support you along the way.
Yes, and especially when it comes to Horvitz, like you said, he is definitely the type of mentor that you want in your corner. Like he's definitely the one that is very much is the he is kind of like is the dude that really puts emphasis on having fun and playing pretend. And treat this as like you're walking into a playground, like you have your little play box and like you're building your little sand castles and just having fun along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I know that is pretty much is like I'm using like a kid, like being your inner child. Like I'm just using that analogy because like we're all just big kids at heart. So that's just very much applies to voice act or just it kind of applies to life in general. Like let's just be real.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Even if there are serious things, you can't. It's helpful to approach with a sense of fun and a sense of play, so that you can really open yourself up to different possibilities and give yourself a much gentler time.
Yeah. So if you were to think back to something that really reminds you why you just like voice acting just is where you absolutely just cannot imagine doing anything else. So what would it be and why? You know, if you were to think back to why voice acting means so much and you don't picture doing I mean I know you do some other stuff, but what is it about VO that just really seems to, you know, just strike a chord with you? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's the opportunity to explore different parts of myself, to explore different parts of other people's stories, and to connect with the other actors that are in the group. I know that like stage acting could have also, or on camera, could also provide that same experience, but um, to me, there's too many things to think about when I have a presence that's on stage. I like the fact that being behind the mic and in the booth lets me just work on just melting myself into the story and to fully embrace what's going on with the characters, without having to think about placement of my body and where I'm angled and, if the makeup and the lighting are okay. So it takes away those potential sources of anxiety to let me really just sink into what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed a lot is that when you do stage and theater and everything, is it is a challenge. Like, you know, you feel the adrenaline rushing, but yeah, it is almost kind of like when you get up on the stage, it's like everything just kind of, you know, I mean, I know that for a lot, it can kind of definitely be a struggle for those of us that have anxiety and everything. But I think when you're speaking to a crowd of people, it can be really daunting and scary. I mean, trust me, like, take it from somebody who is kind of like half introvert, half extrovert. But yeah, trust me, it just kind of, I don't want to say it magically goes away. Like, I think I've read something earlier today where like fear can also be used as a fuel, where the more adrenaline you have, the more excited that you are in, you know, actually presenting something or just performing or just do anything on, you know, stage or anything that you're doing in life, whether it's a meeting. And yeah, I think it's something that just kind of, you know, it is so interesting and it's so fascinating how the more we feel afraid, the more it makes us feel like, okay, if I'm scared of doing this, I want to give it my best shot. That just means you're showing up, you care, and you are really passionate and love whatever it is that you're doing a lot. So I think that's kind of like a weird way of phrasing it, but I don't know. Hopefully, it comes across.
Yeah, no, I think it does. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see. What would you say was kind of like, and this is something that if you want to also close out this interview on, what would you say is kind of like the biggest takeaway or lesson that you've learned along the way, and it's something that you also want like to share with the audience before we wrap this up?
I would say just to focus on your craft and on being a kind member of this community. You know, popularity is great and fame is great and, it gets you money and that's very helpful. But, at the end of the day, the parts we play and the projects we're in are not as important as the people we meet and connect with along the way. So I would say to just maintain a level of understanding and kindness, be one of the safe, good places in the community, and, do everything you can with your craft and don't be focused on, getting some popular breakout role. Just be focused on what you're doing now because whatever it is, it matters and it's important and you're sharing a story that matters.
Yep. And real quick, what would you say are some of your most memorable, like, because you did some stage and stuff, so if you have any anecdotes or memories or just stories that you want to share about that, the floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, the year before I started voice acting, I went to a My Little Pony convention, and there was a burlesque group performing there, and I got to do a singing performance and a little bit of dancing on the stage, which was a really great experience because it was a very positive and supportive crowd. It was great to have a chance to support the other performers and I feel like what I got from that was I really loved this feeling of performing. I just wouldn't want to necessarily do it on a stage constantly. So I feel like that was something that really kind of pushed me to give the voice acting thing a shot.
Yeah. And that was just kind of like another pivotal moment, would you say?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, it was just, I had not gotten to perform on a stage dancing ever since I hadn't gotten to do that since I was like 12 years old doing dance lessons. And I had never gotten to do singing. So I had an exceptionally fun amount of time with that.
Exactly. And I know you do like a lot of other stuff too, because not only have you been an actor, an actress, but you also write, you draw, you create, and pretty much do like the triple threat. So just talk to us a little bit about writing and, doing art and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, writing has always been a very big, passionate thing of mine. I have two English degrees. I was one of the section editors on my college newspaper. I've written for local publications. I do editing work for people's scripts. I contribute with writing sometimes on those too, and I'm currently producing a small animated short that I is original idea from me that I also wrote. And doing that has also helped give me a lot of insight into the art and animation side of production, which has been very eye opening and just very helpful for, making sure that what I do as a writer or what I do as a voice actor is going to be done in the most helpful way possible for the artists and animators down the line.
Yeah, and it also helps you a lot with life and just acting and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I just, the bottom line for me is that I love storytelling in all forms. So getting to, be part of each of these kinds of parts of sharing things is just showing me different ways of storytelling, which I love.
Yeah, and is there a piece of media that you consider to be like very inspirational to you that has also left an impact when it comes to you, acting and writing and all your the other stuff that you do?
I would probably say like the classic Nickelodeon Nicktoons from the 90s. I really grew up on that stuff. There were a lot of great, stellar performers in those. They had a lot of fun with the storytelling, a lot of fun with the art. And, I just loved all of that so much. And, you know, I still see some of that playfulness today sometimes, but there was just a lot of fun things because they were trying new things back then that it was just really fun to be part of watching animation evolve at that time.
Yeah, absolutely right there with you. I remember having those VHS tapes of the Nicktoons. Yeah, back when we used to have the video cassettes. Remember those? And yeah, just really watching that animation, time frame of yeah, just the evolution. We have like those Cartoon Network shows, Nickelodeon. Yeah, and then the Disney Renaissance was also going on around that time. Man, those are the days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
whatever.
really, really beautiful era for things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also consider like the 2010s in a way to be like kind of like another Renaissance-ish period because you had like, My Little Pony, like you said, Adventure Time, regular show on Cartoon Network. I think that was I mean, like when say Adventure Time, it just really exploded and took, you know, animation by storm. And now today we're getting a lot of these indie shows streaming that is just really exploding. I mean, we are getting shows like the Digital Circus, the Lackadaisy, the oh my gosh, there's like way too many that I'm just leaving out. But yeah, we're just living in a new age where indie animation is kind of like the next big thing right now. And I'm just
Yeah.
really happy for everybody just seeing their all their hard work and dreams just, bear fruit.
Yeah, it's been very beautiful to see, and it's been great to see storytelling that um, might not have been picked up by the mainstream because they're very interested, in having more of a general audience. It's been nicer to see these stories that maybe the audience is smaller, but it's still an audience that deserves to be represented and seen and to have stories out there that they can relate to.
Yeah. I mean, I was just doing an interview with somebody who I'm probably going to put up sometime in the next few weeks or so. I don't know. My backlog is insane. But we were also talking about how the 2010s and the 2020s, in a way, also gave us, a lot of the Disney shows like Owl House, Amphibia, and some of the indie shows that I just mentioned, where we're seeing more of a push for more, like, because I think in the 90s, we got a lot of shows that were breaking the mold when it came to, storytelling, writing, and just having a lot more themes that you may not have pulled off, in the 80s or 70s, because most of the time, because a lot of the shows, as much as I really do love Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe and Transformers and so on and so forth, a lot of those shows like I know that they can be pretty cheesy by today's standards, and honestly, they have to shit sell toys, which was a big thing. But in the '90s, we had shows like Batman, the animated series. I have a poster behind me that I don't know if I can show right now, but yeah, it's kind of difficult with my camera. But yeah, we have Batman, X-Men, Gargoyles, the Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers stuff that you could tell that they really went the extra mile and started giving us shows that not only can the adults, I mean, the kids can definitely watch, but it's also for the adults. I mean, they did, I mean, of course, you got kind of have those little, innuendos or just the adult, but they did it in a way that felt like, oh, okay, so yeah, that is pretty funny. It's not like, just in your face. They just did it with subtlety, and it felt kind of, fun just seeing them just throwing their little cheeky humor in there. And that's kind of something that I do miss in a way. I mean, I do think there's a lot of great stuff now, but man, as somebody who is a full on 90s and 2000s kid, of course I'm going to be like, they don't make them like they used to anymore. In a way. I don't know. It just depends who I'm talking to, really. So yeah, you just kind of heard me ramble about cartoons and all that stuff, which is fine because I mean, I also love storytelling. I mean, I'm doing shows right now that you probably should check out a little prologue on my channel. That's my little plug-in because I've mentioned this in previous interviews. So yeah, play for your life, y'all. Play for your life. I think outside of that, I think that's pretty much about it. So if you want to maybe plug your social media, your projects, just do the self promo thing. Where can people check out your work? Where can people interact? All that stuff. Social media, projects, self promo time.
Yeah, of course. I'm at J Rose Reads pretty much anywhere, except for Instagram. I'm at Jenna Rose Reads. I didn't get in time to get the J Rose Reads handle. Also, my website's www.jrosereads.com. And especially on my Blue Sky at jrosereads.bsky.social, that's where I tend to post the most often. You can find updates there on anything that any role announcements, any new episodes of things I'm in that are being released, or just stuff I'm doing, or if I'm attending, conventions or anything like that.
Yep, I think that's pretty much about it. So if you have any last words or, I don't know, closing thoughts, anything?
Yeah, I would say, just each day, just do what you can. And if that means getting a ton of auditions out, that's great. And if that means taking a day to rest, that's great too, because all of all of that and everything in between is just all part of taking care of yourself and gradually growing your career.
Amen to that. And for the outro, I usually have a guest say, "Hi, my name is Jenna Rose. I've been in this project, so I also do this. And this is Station Square podcast with Robert Jackson." That's kind of the outro that I do for every episode.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jenna Rose. I've been in the Sheridan tapes, the Sunflower Talk, and sorry, let me try one more time. One second. Okay. Hi, I'm Jenna Rose. I've been in the Sunflower Talk, the Sheridan tapes, and Someone Died in This Elevator. And you're list. Oh, sorry. What was the whole tag? I'm sorry.
Oh, Station Square podcast with Robert Jackson.
Station Square Park. Okay. Hi, I'm Jenna Rose. I've been in the Sheridan tapes, the Sunflower Talk, and Someone Dies in This Elevator. I'm so sorry. I'm going to need to write it down because it's Station Square Podcast.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jenna Rose, and I've been in the Sheridan tapes, the Sunflower Talk, and Someone Dies in This Elevator, and you're listening to the Station Square Podcast.
Yep, with me, Robert Jackson. Hey, we got it.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Also, you are a bookworm. Yes.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess to as a quick little extra segment,
hmm
books. Go. Share your love, favorites. Everything about books. Since we're
Oh,
kind of at the end here.
anything by Rainbow Rowell, especially if you're looking for a replacement for a certain Wizarding book series. Her Carry On series is wonderful.
Yeah.
Anything by T.J. Klune, it will make you smile and tear up. It's beautiful. Let's see. I've been into for horror, Stephen Graham Jones, some really, really great intense stuff. For manga, I've been reading She Likes to Cook, She Likes to Eat. Again, very cozy, very slice of life, very fun times. And I'm also about to start a reread of The Great Gatsby if you want anything a little bit classic.
Yeah. So it's also been something you've kind of like reading books is something you've done all your life, and that's why you kind of do all this
Oh,
creative.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first intro into storytelling.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have like any, I don't want to say goals, but anything that you kind of want to see or looking forward to in the future? Because we're kind of in August. So what would you like to see, later on down the line? Like for everything, book, or just anything, period.
I'm hoping to find representation this year for my voiceover work. I'm hoping
Same.
to yeah, to continue production on my animated short, and I'm currently sending out queries to agents about a middle grade horror novel that I wrote for kids. So I'm hoping something will happen with that.
Yeah, well, I'm pulling for you. Like, you know, just I'll be rooting for you. That's all I can say.
Thank you. I'm rooting for you too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So, It warms my heart. But anyways, I think that just about does it. Thank you for watching this episode, and stick around for more Station Square coming up in the next couple every so often. Like I am to kind of take a little bit of a break on podcasting stuff, but yeah, it's just always a lot of fun to do these interviews and just really talk with some of the, not just with friends, but just some of the top talents in the industry. So if you want to see more of that, check out Spotify, SoundCloud. I'll just include them all in the. I'll just link them in the description so you can just find it all in one place instead of me just saying everything. And I'll also link in your website and socials and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. Stick around for more Station Square. I'm Robert Jackson, and until then, God bless you. God loves you, and take care. Have a good one. Stay cool and safe out there. Bye bye. Love and peace. Take care.